So what's up everybody and welcome to kind of my year in review video. 2016 is over, today is December 31st, so in this video I'm going to take a look back on what in my opinion were the 10 best mods to be released for 2016. Obviously this is a very hard thing to kind of define in a tall order in itself. There were a ton of mods being released this year. I actually only started making Fallout videos really this year. I think I technically had a few last year, but predominantly this year is when I became a quote-unquote Fallout YouTuber. With all that being said, I experienced a ton of really great mods. I want you to remember throughout this list, this is going to be kind of in my opinion and in my admittedly kind of forgetful opinion. I actually tried to make this list over a few days because I didn't want to really leave out any mods, but obviously there are a ton of different mods and I couldn't really remember all of them. Multiple times I was like, oh yeah, that mod, and had to change the list or remove something. In this video in particular, I'm sure you guys will disagree with some of them, but let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite mods? If you guys do want to support this video, one way you could do that is by leaving a comment or a like. Due to YouTube's new algorithm, that's actually just kind of the best way you can promote videos now. Regardless, now let's jump into what in my eyes were the 10 best mods to come out over the past 365 days. So up first, and just for an FYI, this video is in no particular order, we do have the Scar H. From the day I downloaded this mod, I knew I loved it. It really just set itself apart from all the other weapon mods at the current time, simply because of how polished and good it was. While other weapon mods really grew over time, this one I felt like from day one, again, really had everything you wanted. Custom animations, custom sounds, and a great looking assault rifle. Even today, the gun is arguably rather lacking in the modifications department, but it just does what it does so well. When it was first released on PC, it was a huge success. Tons of people downloaded it. When it was first released for Xbox One, it was also a huge success and even more people downloaded it. The Scar H really is an embodiment of what a good weapon mod is. It is probably the best assault rifle mod for Fallout 4 right now. I'm sure tons of you guys use it. You've seen it in tons of my different videos. Even though I don't necessarily prefer assault rifles, I actually typically prefer some longer range, almost DMR style rifles over assault rifles, but this gun was just so well made that it really drew my attention to it and I enjoyed it for a very long time. And honestly, I still find myself consistently going back to it. It really stood out to me as one of the better weapon mods to come out of this year, and honestly, it was just extremely refreshing to see a mod be released in its complete form. A lot of mods, again, will grow over time. This wasn't one of those. It was released, and then you could play it, and you really felt like, wow, this is everything I ever wanted, and it's awesome. So this is actually going to be the only mod not available for Xbox One. Regardless, Frost Survival Simulator is one of the few mods for Fallout 4 that really changes the game. From the same mod author that did bring us Dust Survival Simulator for Fallout New Vegas, Frost really, again, turns Fallout 4 into a hardcore post-apocalyptic experience that many people really were left longing after completing the game. What it's going to do is make things just much more difficult. There's going to be tougher enemies. It changes the setting to much closer to when the bombs drop, so societies aren't really set up yet. You have small kind of outliers of little things. One major impact of this that a lot of people will either like or dislike is it really changes the pacing. When you make decisions in this mod, you really have to think long and hard. If you're going to take on even a singular enemy, it's going to be a tough fight. You have to position accordingly. You have to really choose what you're going to carry with you because you will never have enough carry weight for all the valuable items you do have. And honestly, it kind of is just the perfect ultra hardcore experience for Fallout 4. If you're playing on the consoles and you are unfortunate enough to have never experienced this mod, wait patiently. The mod author has said he does plan on porting it over still, as he does do some more updates. Regardless, it is still a great experience and I would definitely be excited for its release. See-through combat scopes. So this is one of those kind of quality and life improvements that Fallout 4 was really lacking. The vanilla see-through scopes in Fallout 4 made you cut to a black screen, and if you really wanted to aim at enemies, it just, I don't know, it was a very weird and not immersive feel. Well, this mod does fix all of that, and it honestly became a staple for different mods. It got to the point where a lot of my weapon mod videos, if you look at late, especially for kind of medium range rifles, I critique them for not having compatibility with this mod. That is how good it is and how much of a staple it became for the base game of Fallout 4. There were a number of other mods that I kind of almost included on the series that were really good quality of life improvements, but none of them really had the same effect that see-through combat scopes had. I find myself using this seamlessly with every single mod I have, and if one mod doesn't have it, I really start to dislike it simply because of how good and polished the mod is. If you somehow played all through Fallout 4 and modding without using this, go download it right now. It is like night and day if you go back to some of the old scopes simply because of how bad they are and how good this is. There are a lot of weather mods for Fallout 4. In my own opinion, I've actually had many different favorites over the course of playing my game. But without a doubt, I think the best weather mod for Fallout 4 right now is going to be Vivid Weathers. True Storms is definitely going to be a close second. I'm sure a lot of you guys do like True Storms as well, but Vivid Weathers for me has always just kind of been a little bit better. True Storms honestly makes the weather in Fallout 4 better. It adds in new features, including some of the fog and sneak things, makes storms sound awesome, and again, it has that ambient occlusion option. But it feels like an improved vanilla weather. Vivid Weathers actually changes the way weather feels in Fallout 4. It really makes it a powerful force. You have tons of different weather types, tons of awesome weather types, and honestly, I think it just really enhances the experience by adding on so much content to Fallout 4. On top of that, the actual vivid aspect of the game is a huge improvement, especially for console users not using an ENB. Personally, I use an ENB, but frankly, using it without Vivid Weathers is a very different experience compared to using it with Vivid Weathers. Honestly, there are so many different reasons why this mod is good and why I like it so much. I could talk about it for a very long time, but I'll cut it short here. Vivid Weathers is, in my eyes, the definitive weather mod. Fortunately, if you're playing on PC, you could use it in tandem with True Storms, which I often find myself doing for survival Let's Plays. But if you only had to choose one, I would definitely pick Vivid Weathers. So up next we do have the Mercenary pack. This is actually going to be one of the newer mods on this list. Lord of War was one of the best armor mod authors for Fallout 4 to begin with. Unfortunately, due to some controversy, he did pull all of his mods off of Nexus, and he really kind of missed the console release, so a lot of console users saw a bunch of PC users using all these awesome mods, but never actually got to experience them. Fortunately, he did return, bringing us all of his old mods, as well as a ton of new armor mods with the Mercenary pack. This is really going to be one of the most complete and expansive armor packs for Fallout 4 right now, adding in a ton of new content, and it really doesn't seem like there are any cut corners or anything here. If you look up close at any of these armors individually, they are really top notch. Like if you broke this into 7 separate armor mods, I bet they would be some of the best armor mods individually, but all together they really are on just a whole nother level. I'm sure many of you have played this. Again, it is a hugely downloaded mod, a hugely anticipated mod, and frankly one of the best mods to come out of this year. Power armor in Fallout 4 actually kind of underwent a weird cycle. For a long time, it was the hottest and just best mods. A new power armor release was almost guaranteed to be one of the hottest files, and honestly, they were being released every couple weeks. Then around the end of summer, that all changed. It really just kind of became less popular, and just not as many power armors have been released since then. Regardless, one of the top power armor mods I've ever experienced is going to be the TES-51 power armor. There's a number of different reasons why I think this mod is so good. First and foremost, the mod itself just looks awesome. Between some of the different paint jobs and some of the different animal skins you could put on the armor, it feels like a very complete and aesthetically pleasing armor, standing out really from a lot of the other ones that are kind of just matte paint jobs. This one actually has detail. On top of that, there's the obvious factor of many people love Skyrim. Fallout and Skyrim are kind of sister brother games made by the same company on the same engine, and all around that's definitely a huge factor as to why people, me included, enjoy this armor so much. Last but not least is it actually includes a bunch of different weapons. I feel like this is really awesome and something I wish more power armor mods did. It makes it feel really complete, and when you get in the armor and pull out your hammer or sword, it really just feels like a very complete and good experience. Doom-based weapons. This is a mod that's actually laid almost dormant for a long time. For a while, Doom was actually releasing new weapons almost every week or every few weeks, and they were really some of the highest quality weapons. They didn't really keep up with the times and some of the custom animations, although you can apply a lot of them to them. With that being said, Doom-based weapons merged is really one of the few high-quality weapon packs we do have for Fallout 4. Yes, there are things like modern firearms, but that really changes your game. I don't want to change my game, I want to play a better game with some cool weapons. That's what Doom-based weapons does. It adds in a good variety of weapons, including shotguns, LMGs, SMGs, pistols, that are balanced, will spawn naturally in your world, and look very cool. A lot of them even have their own feel, such as having kind of custom attachments that don't really have on other weapons, and they kind of just each stand out individually. This has for a long time been one of the few options we have for a balanced weapon pack, and it continues to be so. Hopefully in the future we do get more options, but for the time being, this is definitely a good choice, and in my eyes, one of the only choices you really have. Workshop Synth Production. So I bet a lot of you guys are going to be surprised by this one. Not because it's a bad mod, but probably because you forgot it even exists. Well, I didn't. I actually never got to the point in my survival Let's Play where I could use this practically, but in some personal playthroughs and just off camera, I've actually played with this mod quite a bit since its initial release. If you haven't heard of it thus far, what it allows you to do is more or less create synths. It's going to cost X amount of materials, and it actually goes through this really cool animation showing you how they're all created, and then you could watch them come out of it. Then they are functionally settlers, and you could assign them them to different settlements and do whatever does float your boat. On top of that, you could actually clone existing individuals, have kind of a storage of different faces, and all around it actually was a very complete and even beyond that balanced mod. Beyond all that, it's actually totally unique. I really can't even think of another mod that comes close to doing what this mod does. Being able to artificially create entire settlements is actually a great feature. Even just the simple fact that you're blocked from picking up the item till pretty late into the game. So it's not like you could start off your new Let's Play and be like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna start mass producing synths. No, you gotta actually do some quests for the synths first to get access to their facility, to get access to the item. All around, again, it's a very high quality mod, and one I feel like that didn't get enough attention over the long term. It's actually really well balanced and a great addition to your game. I was very careful as to which weapon mods to include in this list, that being standalone weapon mods, simply because there are so many and I wanted to choose correctly as to which ones really were the best. That's what the series is supposed to be about, the best of the best. I can safely say, and honestly I could say without a doubt, that the DKS 501 is the single best weapon mod for Fallout 4. This mod is simply so complete, it has so many different features and so much functionality that really just make it stand out from every other weapon in the game. It really uses the weapon customization system very completely. You can truly change this to be kind of a more DMR style rifle to a proper full-on sniper rifle. This is awesome. It has see-through sight support, it has visible weapon support, it has custom sounds per caliber. So if you're using a 38, it sounds different than using a 50 caliber. That's actually something I complained about tons of mods in the past, and finally this is the one to fix it. Custom animation support, which actually looks absolutely awesome, and is one of the first kind of major weapon mods to get custom animations. And even if all that wasn't enough, on top of that, it also has a few unique variants scattered across the world that are a little bit cooler and a little bit more powerful than the kind of typical variant. The DKS was always going to be a cool sniper simply because of the nostalgia fact and that it appeared in some of the previous Fallout games and then made its way into Fallout 4. But all the additional updates it's had since its release and how it really just grew as a very complete mod just make it stand out so much from some of the others. Again, this is a mod that I think other mod authors should look to and aspire to be simply because of how good and how much quality is here. So the last mod on this list is going to be the Submersible Power Armor. This is actually the only mod author to appear twice, that being Edible Grenade 12. This was honestly one of the best power armors I experienced in Fallout 4. There are so many different options and features of this mod, similar to some of the other top mods on this list. You have different paint jobs, different helmets, an augmented weapon, which is absolutely amazing. That's probably one of my favorite features in general. Putting that drill on and stabbing enemies with it was so enjoyable, and I still remember first downloading that update and experiencing it, just being in such awe and not understanding why other power armor mods didn't do this simply because of how awesome it was. One reason both this and the TES power armor stood out to me was their implementation also. A lot of other power armor mods were kind of just plopped down somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or you had to do some crafting and lo and behold you had your power armor. This wasn't the Submersible power armor. You actually had to go to a lighthouse in the middle of Bumblefuck to pick up the armor. I really love this, and even though it was something so simple, it really just made it stand out from all the other power armor mods out there right now. There's a huge amount of attention to detail on both of these different power armor mods, and honestly they are again some of the best options you have for downloading, which is pretty remarkable considering Edible Grenade wasn't kind of some huge legacy member of the Fallout 4 modding community. He did post mods for previous Fallouts, but he wasn't kind of well known like Noctium or Dogtooth or some of those guys. Even his next project, adding in the Little Sister armor, is going to only augment and further enhance this Submersible power armor, which again is just awesome. It's really nice and refreshing to see mod authors paying attention to their mods over the long term. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. That's a year in review. I'm going to have another one of these videos coming out for Skyrim in a few days. I would probably just release it tomorrow, but that's when Mods Weekly comes out, so it'll be out probably Monday. Hopefully you guys had a good year. Hopefully you enjoyed watching my content and just watching my channel. It seems like this is definitely going to be one of the longer videos I've uploaded in a while, so if you did watch to this point in the video, let me know that by commenting what your New Year's resolution is in the comments down below. Mine personally is actually to learn how to code. It's something I've kind of wanted to do for a really long time, but I just never really sat down and did it. So who knows, maybe next time this year I'll be the one making some of the mods. Probably not, but who knows. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did again enjoy this year. Hopefully you liked my channel over the year, and hopefully we have a great 2017. There's a lot of new stuff coming out, maybe even a new game, so let's look forward to that, as well as I do have a few cool series coming out over the next few weeks, so look forward to those. As always, again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.